One of the questions that I seem to get asked the most these days by photographers is, what is shutter speed and how does it affect my images? Well, I'm going to talk all about that in today's video. Hey, what's up? It's Chris from Brooker Films, and in today's video, we're talking all about shutter speed and how shutter speed can affect your photography. Now, I guess the first question that we need to address is, what is shutter speed? Well, the shutter speed correlates to the number of your shutter, and your shutter opens and closes to let light into the camera sensor. Now, the longer you leave your shutter open for on your camera, the more light you'll let into your sensor, and this basically means the more blurry your images are going to be. So if we left the shutter open on the camera for around 30 seconds and we were taking a picture of cars passing by the camera, then you're going to get loads of motion blur from those cars, and you'll capture a really nice and really beautiful light streak from those cars. But the really important thing to remember is you can't use the same number of shutter speed on every single photo, because each and every photo will require a different number. So as I say, if you keep your shutter speed open for around 30 seconds, then you're going to be able to capture those beautiful light streaks because your shutter is open for those longer periods of time. So if you were shooting something fast paced and you wanted your image to be in crystal clear, absolute sharp detail, then you would need a much higher number on your shutter speed. So rather than leaving your shutter open for extended periods of time, you basically want your shutter to open and close within a split second. So for this, you're going to pull your shutter up to a number of around 1/200, 300, 500. And this is how you're going to ensure you capture a crystal clear, sharp image when you're taking photos of fast moving subjects. Now, it's also really important to note that shutter speed not only affects the motion blur within the image, it also acts as a brightness control. So because you're leaving your shutter open for extended periods of time, you're going to let more light into the sensor, and that means your image is going to be brighter. And the same thing applies for when you only have your shutter open for a split second. You're not going to let a lot of light into your camera sensor, and this means you're going to have a darker image. So it's really important that you correctly expose your image whilst also maintaining the look of the motion blur that you like. This basically means if you want a longer exposure photo, you want to keep the shutter open during the middle of the day when it's really bright, then you're going to have to use an ND filter on your camera to remove some of the light from the scene. And if you're taking a picture of a fast-paced athlete in the middle of the night, you're going to have to introduce light into your scene and use a flash gun or some video lights in order to expose your image correctly. Shutter speed is one of the most fundamental principles of photography, and it can really affect your image. So take the time to research, practice, and practice even more, because you want to know the camera like the back of your hand if you want to take some incredible images and make the most out of your camera. And there you go. I really hope this video helped you learn more about shutter speed, and if it did, then please do let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you're interested and you want to learn more about photography and filmmaking, then subscribe to the channel by clicking the circle, and also check out the previous video whilst you're here by clicking this box just over here. See you on the next video.